additional 10% tariff. So that seems to be in response to the BRICS conference that just took place.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. We don't mess around here.
So I think it's also
the executive orders that are going to be signed tomorrow. Sorry, Millie.
Something that kind of topping topic since you guys are talking about baby. There was information that was coming out in these cases from some of the witnesses and victims that were essentially pointing to Jeffrey Epstein having Mossad ties. So, like in a 2024 lawsuit, Jane Doe sued Epstein's estate in her testimony stating that he boasted about being a Mossad agent in 2001. And same with she claimed him and Maxwell hinted at his spy ties. And then there was also statements from a former intelligence officer, Ari Ben Menashe, who claimed to have worked for Israeli intelligence, asserted in 2020 that both Epstein and Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, were Mossad agents. And so I find it kind of interesting. Do you think that there's any validity to that? And if that was some kind of a blackmail operation, so go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, no, so Millie, I think that Jeffrey Epstein was a member of multiple intelligence agencies. I think he ran a international blackmail for hire, right? Where he would work with different intelligence agencies all across the world to provide blackmail that he was collecting. Now, did he ultimately work for one? I don't know. But I would say that he at least was like in with a CIA, Five Eyes, Mossad, like they're all like, I think blackmail is probably just as important as money today, honestly, how these people operate.
Millie?
Hey guys, I just asked Grok if there's an actual list, and they said no. I asked for a source, gave us Justice Department press release date in July 2025. So it looks like Grok is already updating here.
Wait, did you say Department of Justice press release in July 2025? Because we're running off of an Axios article.
This says Justice Department press release dated July 2025. No
Does it link to that press release?
It says Reuters.com.
Can you try to source? Do you know how to source that? Who is this?
DOJ. Oh, here we go.
Diligence Grok might be better actually.
No, there is no. The last press release at the DOJ was on July 3rd, so it's definitely not.
What is that Reuters article? Can you click through to the Reuters article?
I don't know about a Reuters article. I don't see that.
No, whoever was just talking said that.
Yeah, it just says Reuters.com. I would have to ask for the specific. Let me look into it right now.
Dad, did you chime in yet? What do you think about all this? Are you there?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sucks, man. And if we're gonna talk optics, holy shit balls, does this look bad? And just playing at the elementary level, this just looks really, really bad. I'm still trying to figure out how did you get, Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever the hell her name is. How did she go to jail for helping Epstein, but he has no client basis, or they can't cross-reference the Lolita Express because they have to have a flight manifest. Have they not talked to everybody on those manifests? It just seems very, like Elon said, was Trump on the? Did he go to the island? Where else am I supposed to go, right? And I don't believe that. But this is a bad look, a really bad look. And I don't know how this actually gets worked through without, like Jim said, there needs to be a whole shitload of documents dumped and explained. But Pam Bondi owns this, and this lays at her feet right now. I understand Pam Bondi.
You didn't hear that it hasn't been confirmed by the FBI or DOJ at this time. So it's still...
Yes, sir. I'm riding the what if, right? The optics of it. If it, let's say it's real, because
it's the link that makes me feel real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you, and I think that it's fair for us in a space to be able to correlate that this would be, and Axios is one of their favorites to leak shit, so I'm not real sure why they do that, but at the same time, I think we need to have the official document or statement from both DOJ and FBI. I don't think it's going to be that, but that's why they do leaks like this, so that they can go out there and make people feel better about themselves, or let us talk it through instead of them coming out doing a press conference and dropping in the bomb, right? They did it for the lifting the abortion deal. That's the first time it ever came out of Supreme Court 2 weeks early, because ripping the Band-Aid off usually gets people hurt or property damage or pissed off people. So I don't know if that's all. I'm pretty pissed off about this. They're going to need a hell of a lot more information, because we've been writing this shit forever. They made poor Scott Pressler go there in his cowboy boots and get a binder and whatnot, and it's just crazy town. And I don't understand how that played into this. All of it comes down to none of this makes sense, and somebody better start talking real quick. Because to me, as it sits, where it sits right now, we're talking mad treason somewhere.
Well, Chad, so if they're going to be having press conferences tomorrow, right? Let's just say that Axios, who in the history of being Axios, hasn't been the most upstanding journalistic citizens in the world, would they be forcing Trump to get asked about Epstein in front of the camera tomorrow, standing next to Bibi Netanyahu, if they do think that there is this Mossad angle in front of it to try to embarrass the world leaders as they're signing a historic peace agreement?
I think that's definitely going to come up if there's some validity to this. I mean, Axios has got it out into the lexicon, right? The problem I'm having with it, Jennifer, is how did it get into the lexicon? Somebody leaked again, if that is what the goal is. Somebody leaked it to Axios, and again, we're dealing with a leak and internal people who, when they find out that they did in fact leak this to Axios, is going to have security walk them out of the building instead of handcuffing their ass and putting them in jail. How many times have we seen that already? There's a big problem at DOJ right now, and that's where I'm laying this at. Wherever, even if it's a leak or what have you, the DOJ is not right. And I've tried to stick up for Pam Bondi, but she's really digging a hole right now.
Well, honestly, I think it's time to start asking questions, because after Jeffrey Epstein was prosecuted the first time and he had to do his whole bullshit house arrest where he could go into the office and work and have girls show up at the office while he was working on house arrest and then go back to jail, that kind of thing. After that point, Jeffrey Epstein was still operating. He still owned property in Palm Beach. He still was flying girls in and out of Palm Beach, Lolita Express. Pam Bondi was the Assistant Attorney General of the state of Florida. And you were telling me in that entire time she couldn't find anything to go in and investigate if she really, really cared. And we're expecting this person who, when she was Assistant Attorney General, she didn't stand up. And I would just like to know how much money she took from the Bush family. I'm just wondering.
But it almost makes you wonder why she was selected for the job that she's in right now.
Hey, can we all?
There is a lot of players and plays at play. That's all I'll say.
Can we also point out that
So, without more context on who she is and what job you're referring to, I'm kind of flying blind here.
Brock, can you tell us the validity of the Epstein memo that was just Brock, can you tell us the validity of the DOJ supposed Epstein memo that was just released tonight? Scan the web and X for valid sources.
Based on posts found on X and some quick web checks, the DOJ and FBI's joint memo on Jeffrey Epstein, reported tonight, claims there's no credible evidence he blackmailed prominent individuals, had a client list, or was murdered. Axios and other outlets are citing it, but skepticism's running high. Users on X are calling it a convenient shutdown and propaganda, pointing to years of withheld documents like flight logs and contact books. No primary source of the memo itself is public yet, so it's hard to verify its authenticity or full context.
Do a deep dive in an attempt to verify its authenticity.
All right, diving deeper into the DOJ and FBI joint memo on Jeffrey Epstein reported tonight. Based on posts on X and web sources, here's what I've got. The memo, cited by outlets like Axios, claims no credible evidence exists that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, had a client list, or was murdered. However, several red flags raise doubts about its authenticity. Users on X point out it lacks a date, page numbers, signatures, and consistent formatting, unusual for official DOJ or FBI documents. The seals on the memo are misaligned, and the font looks off, with some calling it a sans serif mismatch compared to standard government memos. Critically, there's no trace of this memo on the DOJ or FBI's official websites, which is a major strike against its legitimacy.
Rock, are you able to find an image of the memo yourself and to verify the inconsistencies yourself?
I can't directly access or view images or specific documents like that memo, but based on what's circulating on X and web reports, users have pointed out several inconsistencies in the supposed DOJ and FBI joint memo on Jeffrey Epstein.
I'll upload the memo into you, Grok, and then I'll let you analyze it yourself. Let's go to the hands. Go ahead.
Diligent,
Wrong button, guys. I apologize.
the memo, the link to the memo from the Axios article is gone.
Guys, Axios is not a reliable source. Axios writes fake shit all the time, especially in 2020 and in 2016. They are not a reliable source. I would hold off until we get an actual statement from Cash. And right now, Cash has so much egg on his face over this. He needs to come out immediately and either verify the memo or unverify the memo. One of the two. Otherwise, is not good for him.
I have the memos, so I will do it anyways. Give me 1 second. One or the other.
Even Caroline Levitt.
No need to make a choice.
Caroline Levitt goes to Twitter and tweets out, stuff is fake news all the time. I'm sure she's up at 11 o'clock at night. She could easily do that.
For you perverts thinking me saying I'll upload it into your Grok, there was nothing dirty there.
I don't think anyone would have thought it was dirty.
No, people in the comments said they thought it was dirty.
The comments said that it was a sexual move.
Given the topic of the space, I'm gonna not go down that path. But
Well, you could ask Grok if she thinks it was.
so, anyways,
In unhinged mode.
Grok. Oh man, Grok, tell us.
I'll with the document, and I'll analyze it for authenticity once you've sent it over. I'll check for stuff like formatting, seals, and fonts, based on what I know about standard DOJ and FBI memos. Just let me know when it's ready.
You got it, Grok.
Hey, David, what is the, can I just ask David a question or should I?
No, please keep talking.
Okay. David, for Axios, if this was a fake memo that they put out, is there any legal on that? Because, that's kind of a big thing to put out something under the DOJ like that.
Well, I don't know, not unless they did it intentionally. I mean, if somebody gave it to them, they didn't validate a source, just hurts their credibility, unless they were acting maliciously. I wouldn't imagine it would be liability. It would just hurt their credibility. If you're talking about, a libel lawsuit, they would have to have acted with essentially some sense of malice, technically, in order to hurt somebody in this particular, and then the question then would be who is the aggrieved party and who would sue. So I don't know. I don't think so. I'd have to research it more, but I think this would just be a credibility issue more so than a libel.
Well, who would they be libeling?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know.
Well, if they're saying that this is an official document from the for the FBI or whoever, DOJ, right? And making up an official document and putting it out as a real document, that just seems, at the least shady.
Well, I agree with David. I think they were probably leaked it and told it was. I doubt Axios said, let's create a fake document on a Sunday night and you know what I mean?
Maybe they were leaked it on purpose.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think they created it to hurt somebody.
Maybe it's Donald Trump, but
Grok, are you able to analyze this document as the memo from the DOJ and FBI tonight regarding the Epstein case?